Chef Talk with Kyle Cherek is brought to you by the following presenting sponsors: Mandel and the North End. For more information on these or other supporting sponsors, please click on the banner ads to the right of the Chef Talk episodes for links directly to their websites. For this Chef Talk with Kyle Cherek, I sit down with Dickson, the executive chef at Merchant in Madison, Wisconsin. She is qualified with one word as far as a chef: honest. She's a product of Wisconsin. She grew up in New Glarus. She talks about her path and how cooking was always in her heart, but she had to go in one direction and come back around and really suss out her roots before she ended up in this kitchen, where comfort food and cocktails in concert reign. It's Chef Talk with Kyle Cherek and Chef Anna Dickson here at Merchant in Madison, Wisconsin. So is that an Elaine Stritch coffee where she would always drink scotch in her coffee cup before she'd go on Broadway? Only it's...
Is it on the record or off the record?
It's I don't know. What kind of coffee is that, Chef?
Chef's coffee.
So how does a nice girl from New Glarus, a nice redheaded girl from New Glarus with a sister and a brother who moved away, end up being the chef of the dopest cocktail comfort food location in Madison?
It's a complicated story.
We brought cameras and we've got all day.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up cooking.
Uh-huh.
It was all I ever did. My brothers and sisters would be playing outside, and I would walk to the grocery store. I would borrow my dad's credit card. He may or may not have known.
Seriously?
And I would walk to the grocery store with my dad's credit card, and I would just go grocery shopping. And I would come home, and I would cook like a 6-course dinner for my family. And that started around the time I was 8.
Wow.
Yep. And then when I was 14, I went out and got a work permit so that I could work in kitchens. And I didn't have a license, and my parents weren't going to drive me to and from work, so I only worked at restaurants in New Glarus that I could walk to from my house. I knew from the time that I even knew what college was that I wasn't going to go. I was going to go to culinary school, and that was the end of it. And that was just it for me. I knew that. But my family felt differently. So they made me a deal. They said that if you go to college for 4 years and you get a degree, that will help you figure out a way to go to culinary school after you get a 4-year degree. And
it's like Sophie's Choice.
Being the short-sighted young woman that I was, I said, no problem, 4 years is a super short time.
Right. Right.
So I picked the most enjoyable degree I could think of.
Which was?
Parks and Recreation.
Oh my God.
And I found a beautiful college in San Luis Obispo, California.
So basically you went on vacation for 4 years.
It was extremely enjoyable.
Yeah. So you finished that, and then did your mom and dad say, all right, now you can cook?
After 4 years in California, I was out of money. So I had to take a year off, and I just worked my butt off for a year. And I saved up, and they saved up, and it still wasn't enough. And I wrote a letter to the French Culinary Institute, and I begged them to take me. And I said, please, I do not have enough money, but it's all I've ever wanted to do, and I promise I'll make a difference in the world afterwards.
They appreciate a little begging.
Yeah, and they said, okay. And they gave me a huge scholarship that allowed me to attend the French Culinary Institute.
Wow.
And I kicked butt because there was so much pressure to do so because I had begged them to allow me in.
Sure.
I graduated at the top of my class. I never got less than a 95% on a test. I was on the dean's list every quarter. You can debone a fish in 90 seconds or less. I could. While it's swimming. While it's swimming. That's actually another funny story. I did that on accident once.
So you rock culinary school.
Yes.
And you graduate.
Uh-huh.
But that's California.
Right.
This is Wisconsin, what some people call a flyover state.
Yeah.
You're from here. How'd you get back?
I got back because after culinary school, my grandma is 97 years old. I came to visit, and it was hard to leave. And I looked around Madison, and I saw a lot going on. Mm-hmm. And there's so many more restaurants than there ever has been. And Farm to Table is making its way to Madison. and I spoke with Josh and Patrick, the owners of Merchant, and our hearts were the same. And I talked to them about food, and we both got so excited that we were shouting on accident. And I was just so excited that I could come home and be with my family and be in Wisconsin and be surrounded by all of the beautiful people that live here and the beautiful farms and just everything about Wisconsin makes my heart sing.
Is your grandma still with us?
Yes, and I see her every other day. I have coffee with her almost every morning.
That kind of coffee, chef coffee?
No, I have normal coffee with my grandma. Coffee and chocolate. So that's what brought me here. And it's just this reminder of like there's so much abundance in particularly Wisconsin that people forget about. And there's so much you can do that is tied to your heritage as far as recipes are concerned, but also that kind of maintains your integrity with the way that you interact with the ingredients. You don't have to search outside of yourself and import everything. There's so much abundance right here. And that's kind of what I try to celebrate in my cooking, is that there is so much abundance here.
Party fillets. One is rare.
Some fillet, one rare.
One chicken. Party style. 7 party salmon.